Hello. I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. The question is, when do you come up with your best ideas? When is your best thinking time? That was the question that Sarah Blakely put out at the National Achievers Congress. This is important not just for entrepreneurs or people who love to create and come up with ideas. This is important for all of us to have the space and the breath for information to come in because that's what tells us how to solve the problems that are coming up in life, how to go about life in the best way, what's the best direction for us. Very simply, what you're going to wear that day. That sounds funny, but I've had a big closet of clothes, and I always said if I didn't get intuitive information every morning as to what to wear, I think I would go crazy having to sit there and spend all of this time picking out clothes. So when is that time for you? Many people have picked up the habit of meditation. And a lot of people say that prayer is asking the question, meditation is listening to the answer. In some meditation practices, we get techniques which help clear the mind. And then often by the time we're done with those techniques, we're like gone in another planet. And so meditation may or may not even be the time that the answers come. It may be the time that you clear your energy. So that information is more readily available to you because you're sitting in a higher consciousness. You're tapping into a little bit more of what we might call God or spirit or the divine to get those answers and that information. It's like unclogging the brain waves or the arteries or taking the dirt off of the stained glass window. But very simply, it's often when we are relaxed. So it could be when you're driving around, it could be while you're taking a shower. That's probably the biggest times when you notice that information come in. So Sarah Blakely actually very specifically added in a longer commute to work because her commute's only 5 minutes to work. So she actually takes about an hour to drive around, and she just drives through all these different places while all these other people in rush hour traffic are stressed to get to work. She's just enjoying the drive, coming up with all of these ideas. Isn't it nice to just live life in a different way? And Don, you posted here, prayer is when speaking to God, and meditation is when God is speaking to us. Yes, that's another great way to look at that. And Judith, twilight sleep is when my inspirations usually come, but sometimes during meditations. What is twilight sleep, Judith? I'd love to know exactly what the term twilight is in association with sleep. But some of you might notice you wake up in the morning and the first thing that happens is a thought. That's happened to me a couple times actually while I was at the spiritual community, where I woke up in the morning and went, oh my gosh, I have to make a big change in my life. One of them was just a small thing, like I needed to go to Italy about 8 or 9 months later than I originally planned. And that was interesting because I was trying to go when the spiritual director was there, but I was getting blocked from actually setting up the reservation. I had all the information I needed. And then I woke up that morning and went, no, I'm supposed to go 9 months later. And literally that day, the entire thing got booked, and I got booked with a few of my friends. And then a few months later, the spiritual director passed away, and he passed away before that original trip was planned. And that was why I was trying to be there. So it would have been pointless to be there at that time. That was one of them. I had another one where I woke up in the morning while I was at the spiritual community and I went, something is wrong here. Something is wrong with my life. And that was literally the time where I started to realize that that wasn't the direction for me anymore. It took a long time for me to come to a full grips and understanding and acceptance of that realization. But it's amazing what that moment and that flash in time when we listen, it can change our entire lives and our directions. And then let's see, more comments here. Dawn, there are ways to meditate where one way is to clear the mind, to give the mind a break. Another way is to meditate on finding a solution to an issue or a problem. Absolutely. And sometimes when people put that question out there before meditation, they stress themselves out, kind of expecting that answer to come. And I would think of the meditation as a time where you are solidifying that, where you're ingraining it, and you're very clearly, consciously putting that question out to the universe. Because like I said, the answer might not come while you're meditating. So don't get stressed out, because it's going to come when the time is right, whether you just aren't relaxed and open enough, or maybe because you needed something more to happen in your life before that information could come. You know, maybe you needed to have a trigger so that you understand life a little bit better. So when that message comes, it becomes more meaningful. And Judith, your twilight sleep is the time when you are falling asleep and waking up. Perfect. It's exactly, I was talking about the waking up time, but falling asleep would be another neat time. Sometimes that keeps us awake, keeps me awake when I come up with those ideas. So I keep a handy notepad or iPad or phone by me sometimes so I can write those ideas down. And make certain to have notebook or notes on the smartphone in order to write down the inspiration. Otherwise, it's gone within 90 seconds. Absolutely. It's very important to keep something with you where you can write those ideas down as soon as possible. And as I mentioned a couple days ago, one of the things that Sara Blakely would do is keep a very long list of all those ideas and check back into it every couple of weeks to see what is penetrating and what is coming up. Very good. You guys keep putting comments on there, and please keep throwing them on there. I love all of this sharing. And I'm going to sign off for now, but keep the conversation going in the chat. Have a beautiful, wonderful day, you all, and I look forward to connecting more later. Bye-bye.